Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is for you, the entrepreneur who is feeling burnt out. You who has never had reliable and efficient staff before. You who feels like you have to do everything by yourself. If you are feeling that way, you are at the right place. Because today I'm going to talk about how to hire high-level staff effectively so you never feel burnt out again. Let's get right into it. So let's talk about why hiring is stressful for most founders. Hiring is not stressful because there are no good people, because there are in fact good, highly qualified, highly skilled people and efficient people to help you with your business. Most of the time, the challenges with hiring is the process with which you hire your staff. There are a few problems. The problem is not volume, it's filtering. You don't filter through the chaff to get the highly qualified people that you need to help you with your business. And there are a few reasons why. First of all, you pick the first available person. People just come to you, I need a job, can you help me? And then you just put them in customer-facing roles without any proper interviews, any proper checks to see if they are good enough to help you with your business. You don't do that. Secondly, you hire cheap. You hire somebody to be your executive assistant or to be your manager in your store, and you pay the person 800 to 1,000 cedis. And then now you complain that this person is not able to solve problems. This person does not think like me. How do you expect them to solve expensive problems when you are paying them that low, or when you are paying them 800 to 1,000 Ghana cedis in your business? It's not possible. If you want highly experienced people, if you want smart people, if you want people who think like you have to be willing to pay them well, pay them adequately. And next, you overburden junior staff. So you hire somebody who clearly has no proper experience or training. And you expect the person to start attending to customers. You expect the person to start responding in a certain way. It's not possible. They can't do it because they are not trained. They are not efficient. They are not skilled enough for those roles. Next is you micromanage. You hire somebody and then you don't allow the person to grow into the role because every single thing has to be run by you. How do you expect to be able to leave your business in charge of that person if that person has not been given the chance to think for themselves? And when all these things come together, that's when founders burn out because they don't know how to hire and delegate. So they end up micromanaging everything. They end up managing the managers they have put in place to manage their businesses. And that model ends up creating a lot of chaos in the business. So let me take you through four hiring phases that I always use for all the people I have hired. This is me talking from 8+ years of experience and after hiring over 20, 30+ people in my business. This is me sharing lessons from my mistakes so you can learn from them and avoid them as well. So there are four phases or four processes that I use to hire high-level people for my business, and I'm going to take you through that right now. So hiring doesn't start when someone comes in for an interview. There's the pre-hiring phase, very important. And this is where you define the role clearly and then you create the ad. So in defining the role, for every client that has come to me saying that they want help hiring or they need help hiring people for their businesses, the first step is to look within, look into your business, look at your current staff, state each person's strengths and weaknesses, identify who needs more responsibilities, who is overworking and needs less responsibilities and help, and who you need to fire. Very important, because you cannot bring an external person into chaos or into a very bad work culture. So you need to first of all look at everybody in your team, state their weaknesses, their strengths, in order to identify a gap and who you need or which role you actually need to fill. Most of the time, I've done this for a number of clients, and I can say that most of the time they end up firing somebody because they realize that this person was supposed to have been fired a long time ago. So this person is not fit to work for me. That's what most people end up realizing when they do this. This clarity phase is so important. So after that, After you have defined the role, you create the ad, the job ad, which we say is the job flyer or the vacancy or whatever. So on that ad, you need to really, so after you've done the foundation, you've defined the role to see what problem is this person solving, what outcome do you want them to produce, what level is this? Is it a junior staff, a mid-level staff, or a high-level staff? I'm sure you would have done that. Now, you decide the salary range and then you come and design the ad. So on that ad, you need to clearly state the person's responsibilities. So the job title, then the roles and responsibilities, the expectations, clear expectations, and then your requirements of that person, who you want that person to be. And then I would say that if you are a business that is still coming up, you're not a very popular or reputable business, be bold enough and write the salary range on the flyer. Why would I say this? It's because in Ghana, we have several salary ranges. People are paid from as low as 500, 800 cedis a month to as high as 8,000 cedis, $10,000 a month. So salaries are so wide in Ghana that if people see a flyer with just an ad or a vacancy stated, they might assume that it's not fit or it's not where they want to be at this point, or they are looking for a certain kind of job befitting a certain kind of salary, right? But if you put the salary range clearly on the role, it kind of filters out, first of all, it filters out people who are not qualified, even though some of them will be bold enough to apply. And it also kind of challenges people who are qualified to leave certain jobs that they may not have left because they are looking for certain kinds of salaries. I hope you are following. Yes, so be bold enough, put your salary range there. You can decide to hide your name or hide your email, use a dummy email if you don't want them to know that this business pays this salary. Sure, you can hide it, but I would say put the salary range there. And then you boost this. So when you are boosting this ad on Facebook or Instagram, you can also reach out to some recruitment agencies, though I would say I would prefer to filter out applicants myself rather than use a recruitment agency, because I've used them in the past. It helped, but I would say it doesn't make too much of a difference if you boost the ad yourself. So you boost the ad, make sure you know how to. You boost using some of these requirements. If you don't know how to boost an ad or boost a post, we have a free course on thebusinessofyourdreams.org. You can see the link to the course there, or you can see a screenshot of the course. It takes you through how to run Instagram ads. So you can boost the ad and use a location index. So maybe 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers around your area, right? So after this, you just wait for applicants. So the next phase is the filtering phase. So this is when you filter and screen applications. Trust me, if you design the job ad right and you post it right and you boost it properly, within a day or two, you are going to have a lot of applications. I have had ads where I've gotten 200 plus applications in a single day. So don't wait for too long. As soon as the applications start coming in, just use the first 2 days to filter them. Don't wait for people who apply after 1 week or not. No, start filtering from the first day. And this is how you filter. You use the 10 to 15 second CV rule. Just scan through the CVs. Don't spend too much time on CVs that are weak or CVs that are incomplete. Just keep scanning. And then you categorize them into two. So first of all, you grade from on a scale of 1 to 10. That's how I would suggest that you grade each CV on a scale of 1 to 10. So you have the strong, weak, and then the maybe. So from 0 to 6 over 10, you put them in the weak category. From 6 to 8 will be in the maybe category. And from 8 to 10, they will be in the strong category. I strongly suggest that you totally ignore the 0 to 6. If you, from the beginning, you think that person is below a 6, that person does not need to work for you. Don't give that person the time of day. If they cannot show or prove themselves in their CV, which is just a document that even AI can help you put together efficiently, they don't even need you to waste your time interviewing them. So the strong and then the maybe. You put down that list, and then from the strong, pick out the strongest, 3 of the strongest, and then invite them for an interview. So you can invite them for a virtual interview or an in-person interview, but only start with 3 at a time. I highly suggest this because if it's a one-man business, you are the only person going to interview them. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with too many options. So I strongly suggest that you start with just 3 people from the strong list. And then you take them through the next phase, which is the interview phase. So the final phase is after you've done the interviews, what do you do? So that's the offer, contract, and onboarding phase. So now you've taken people through interviews, you've done first interview, second interview, maybe third interview, and then you have decided on one person. Don't just send the person the offer the same day as the interview. Give at least 3 to 4 days to show that you actually thought about it. And then you send the person an offer. And then the offer with the salary based on the range that you selected. If the person did not impress you too much, you see the person has room for growth, you can start with the lower level end of the range, the salary range. And then you give the person time to come back with an answer. So 3 to 4 days again for the person to respond with either a positive or negative, or either an acceptance or declination of the offer. And then, the offer should also clearly state the probation period. I suggest not less than 3 months probation period, 3 to 6 months. Most people don't really understand what probation means. So probation means, it doesn't mean you're not paying the person a salary. You pay the person a salary, you should pay the person's taxes, you should pay the person's SNIT, but during the probation period, you can immediately let the person go within a week or in a day of realizing that this person is not the right fit for the role. Probation is just a period where both you and then the employee assess the role to see if this role is the right fit for the employee. So the employee can also decide to quit and leave within a day or a week as specified in the contract. So probation just gives you, is like, let's say, a courting period where you just get to understand if this person is a right fit, this person fits well here, or this person is maybe actually has a strange behavior that doesn't sit right with you and stuff like that. So it's very important that during that probation period, you assess the person very properly. We'll come to that in the onboarding process, right? So after the person has accepted the offer, you send a contract. So you can quickly come up with a formal employment contract using AI. I suggest you also take your time and do that. If you have a lawyer or you have an HR person, make sure that person does the contract properly, clearly stating the probation period, clearly stating the date on which the person begins employment. I highly suggest a Monday, the beginning of the month, a Monday, because that's like a clear, you kind of reset your brain for that. And also in the contract should also state the probation period, the salary. Sometimes you may want to give the person a lesser salary during probation and then increase it after probation. You can also do that. And then whether you are paying or you should be paying their taxes, their SNIT, everything. So, and there are clear roles and responsibilities clearly stated in the contract. You send it to the person, have the person sign it, return it by a specific date, and let the person add their formal ID. So in Ghana, we use a Ghana card. So an ID that you can clearly see the person's picture and everything clear so that you know who exactly this person is. Very important. And then you need to draft an onboarding plan. So the onboarding plan is basically the process of training the person from when the person starts the role. So from 0 to 6 weeks, 0 to 4 weeks. Usually onboarding plans should last about 6 weeks. Sometimes people even do onboarding plans for 3 months. So each week specifically, what is this person supposed to do? Each week, week by week, what is this person supposed to do in the business, right? So maybe first week, this person is supposed to come in, interview, speak to the staff. If it's a high level, maybe you're interviewing someone who is in charge of your staff. That person is supposed to come in, speak to the staff, and then send you reports. So week by week, what that person is supposed to do. So when they accept the offer or when you take them through this onboarding process, it's not the end. You need to make sure you train that person adequately. Find a way of getting frequent reports, especially if you don't work with that person in the same space. Because one thing I've realized is that reports, even though they may seem, even if you work with a person in the same space, having the person narrate things in their own words, it always gives you a different perspective. So it's very important. Even if you work with people in the same space, ask them to send you reports. It gives you a clue of how they think, how this person sees things, how the person thinks, and stuff like that. Very important. Yeah, so that rounds up the beginning. After you give the person the offer, once the person begins, I guess you have hired yourself a high level or an efficient staff by then. Yes.